Hello everyone, this is Varsha. Welcome to Programming Knowledge. So today we are going to understand many topics. Like first we are going to create two sets of test cases. We will learn how to launch the browser. Next we will learn how to navigate to a particular URL. We will understand the hierarchy of the interfaces and the classes in the Selenium WebDriver. Also, we will understand a particular command, that is the Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Why is it not called the best practice? Okay, so let's get started. So as we know, before automating any test script, we have to prepare manual test cases first. So first we will create two sets of test cases over here. So the first set. In the first set, we will have three test cases. The first test case is open the Chrome browser or to launch the Chrome browser. Now, whenever we create the manual test cases, to open the browser or to launch a browser is the first test case, is always the first test case. Okay. Next, we're going to navigate to the URL, that is the www.google.com. The third command is close the browser. So these are the three test cases that we are going to execute. One is the open the Chrome browser, that we are going to launch the Chrome browser. Next, we're going to navigate to the URL www.google.com. And the third, we're going to close the browser that we are opening. Okay. This is the first set. In the second set, we're going to launch the Firefox browser. Open the Firefox browser. Next, we're going to navigate to the URL, that is the www.google.com. Next is we're going to close the browser, that is the Firefox browser. Okay. These are the two sets of test cases that we have prepared. We're going to execute these test cases today. As we know that the Selenium supports many browsers like the Firefox browser, the Chrome browser, the Internet Explorer browser, Safari browser. As we have installed the exe file of the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver that we have installed in the previous lecture. So we are going to launch the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver, and since the process is very similar, so once you understand how to launch a particular browser, you can launch any of the browser according to your requirement. Okay. Open IntelliJ IDE. So in the previous tutorial, we had included our jar files in a Selenium project. We had created a Selenium project. We included our jar files in that. So we're going to continue in that project itself. So yeah, as we know, so yeah, we have created two sets of test cases. We are going to execute it. How are we going to do that? First thing, we know for Chrome browser, the driver that we require is the Chrome driver, right? That we have installed in our computers. We have installed the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver. So first we will execute for the Chrome driver, and then I will execute the test cases for the Firefox driver. Okay. For the Chrome browser, we require the Chrome driver. So now what we are going to do first, the very first step that we are having is the open the Chrome browser. This is the first step, right? So how are we going to do that? First thing, we're going to create the object of Chrome driver. Okay, we're going to create the object of Chrome driver. But how do we refer this Chrome driver object? We need to understand the hierarchy of the Selenium WebDriver, which has the classes and the interfaces. So let's understand that first. So this is the diagram that we are having. The Selenium provides a many number of classes and the interfaces, and we need to understand the hierarchy of classes and interfaces. Now, to understand this hierarchy, we need to have a knowledge about the interfaces and the inheritance concept of Java. Now here, here you can see this diagram, right? In Selenium WebDriver, the search context, the very first interface, these yellow boxes are interfaces and the green boxes are the classes. Okay. So this yellow box, search context, this is the super interface of the WebDriver, and it contains only two methods, that is the find element and the find elements. Yes, these two methods are different. It is not just about a S in find elements. They are different. They are used to find the element on our web page, the web elements that we have, that is the text box, the drop down menu. These commands help to find the web elements on the web page. So we will understand that when we practically implement the test cases, but for now, let us understand that the search context, this search context that we have is the super interface, and is an interface that contains abstract methods. Now, what are these abstract methods? These methods are these abstract methods are the methods that has no implementation. They have only definition. There is no implementation of abstract methods. They just have the definition. Okay. So this is a search context, that is the super interface, which has the abstract method, find element, and the find elements. Next, we have the WebDriver interface. Okay. The WebDriver interface, which is extended from the search context. Okay, it is extended from the search context. This means that it contains the methods, the abstract methods of find element, and find elements method is also in the WebDriver. Apart from this, it also has the other methods like the get method, the quit method, close, get window handles, and many other methods. Okay, so all these are abstract methods that has only body and there is no implementation. Okay. And so these are the topmost root interface. Apart from this, the WebDriver also has the nested interface. Okay, it also has some nested interfaces like which has windows, navigation, target locator, timeouts option. These are also abstract methods. Through these methods, through these interfaces, we can perform various operations like navigating to the URL, maximizing the window, and many more. Okay. So the WebDriver also includes the nested interfaces. Next, we have the remote WebDriver. This is a fully implemented class, okay, which implements the interface WebDriver. Here you can see it implements the WebDriver interface. Okay. Now this WebDriver, remote WebDriver, this remote WebDriver is a fully implemented class. Here you can see it's a fully implemented class where all the abstract methods coming from the search context and the WebDriver are implemented in this particular class. Because obviously when we create abstract classes, right? So these when we create abstract methods, we have to use those methods. You just don't have to keep it. You will use it. That is why there is no implementation and only definition in it. As I said, your core Java knowledge will be required over here to understand this hierarchy. So that is why we need to have the knowledge of inheritance and interfaces of core Java. So the remote WebDriver. Yeah, so the remote WebDriver contains methods of the search context and the WebDriver. In addition, also it implements a JavaScript executor and takes screenshot. Okay, so it implements these interfaces also, which has abstract methods on its own, and we can implement those abstract methods. So to the conclusion, we can say that the remote WebDriver is a fully implemented class which contains the abstract methods of the WebDriver interface and the search context interface, and the take screenshot interface and the JavaScript executor. Okay, so this is about the remote WebDriver. Now here you can see these classes. These classes are the browsers that we have of Selenium. Selenium supports many browsers, you know, right? The Firefox browser, the Internet Explorer browser, the Edge browser, a Safari browser. So the remote WebDriver, it extends these classes, and here you can see these classes are the web browsers that we have. That is the Firefox browser, Internet Explorer browsers. Okay. So now there are various versions of Selenium, as I told in the previous tutorial. From 4th version, here you can see this is the Chromium driver and Chrome driver, right? From the 4th version, the Chrome driver extends the Chromium driver. This has happened from the 4th version. They had made some changes. They had included the Chromium driver also, which through which the Chrome driver will get extended. So these were the changes in the 4th release of Selenium. So this is the hierarchy of Selenium class and interface, in which we have the super interface, that is the search context. Then we have the WebDriver interface, which includes nested interfaces also, which has many abstract methods like windows, navigation, target locator, timeouts, options. Then we have the remote WebDriver, which implements the interface WebDriver, and it also implements the JavaScript executor and the take screenshot interface. Next we have the browsers. These are the browsers which is supported by the Selenium, and the remote WebDriver extend these classes. These are classes, okay? Remember, the remote WebDriver and these browser are the classes, whereas the search context, WebDriver, nested interfaces, take screenshot, and JavaScript executor are the interfaces. Okay, this is the complete hierarchy of the Selenium class and the interface. So now let's move to the program. So now over here, for opening the Chrome browser, the first thing that we did over here is we created a object of Chrome driver, right? Now how do we refer this object? Here in the, so remember, this Chrome driver is a class, right? As I have shown in the hierarchy, it is a class. Now here, just refer to this hierarchy again, and here we can see that the WebDriver is the parent interface. Here you can see that the WebDriver is the parent interface, and now you must be saying, no, the remote WebDriver is the parent. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about the interface. Focus on what I'm saying. I'm talking about interface. The WebDriver is the parent interface, and the remote WebDriver is a class. Okay, remote WebDriver is a class, and the WebDriver is an interface. So here the parent interface will be WebDriver. So the WebDriver interface will give a reference to the Chrome driver. How? I'm going to write WebDriver. I will give a reference like driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So now here in this command, WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver, we are using the dynamic polymorphism concept, in which the child class object that is the Chrome driver, is referred by the parent interface, that is the WebDriver, through a reference variable, and that reference variable is called as driver. Okay, so this is how we are opening the Chrome browser. So let's run this command first. So our Chrome browser is not launched. Why? Let's see. Here it shows an error which says illegal state exception, which says the path to the driver executable must be set by the WebDriver.chrome.driver system property. Okay, this is your error. The path to the driver executable must be set by the WebDriver.chrome.driver system property. So here it says that I have to define a property, a system property, and to define this system property we have a system class. So I will write system dot set property. Now this set property command has two values need to be entered over here. One is the string key and is the string value. In the string key, what we have to enter? It's given over here itself, WebDriver.chrome.driver. We will simply copy this and paste it over here. This is your string key. Whereas the value will be the path where your executable file is saved. That is the Chrome driver. So in my case, I'll go to D drive, Selenium jars and drivers, and the Chrome driver, because we're launching the Chrome driver. So I will simply just copy this path and I will paste it over here. Change these slashes. Okay, and we're going to include our file name over here. Our file name is Chrome driver. Okay, so we are going to write Chrome driver .exe. Now if you're using Mac, you don't need to write exe because Mac does not support exe files. So there's no requirement to write exe, but if you're using Windows, then you're going to write exe. Okay. We're going to execute this statement now. So here you can see my Chrome browser is launched. You can see this Chrome browser, it is launched, which says Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. Now this Chrome browser and this Chrome browser, the original Chrome browser, these two Chrome browsers are different. Here we cannot see any tab which shows that Chrome browser is being controlled. But over here you can see Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. There's a tab over here. Okay, so this is the difference between the Chrome browser that we are launching through automation and the Chrome browser that we have originally on our computers. So I'll just close this. So we have launched the Chrome browser. And yes, one important question that you must be thinking is by looking at this diagram. Now over here you must be thinking, as I said, that the parent interface is the WebDriver. But here the super parent interface, that is the search context, is also there. So why are we not writing search context driver? Like I'll just write driver1 equal to new Chrome driver. Now this command is also correct. I'm not saying that this command is wrong. But why are we not writing search context driver is equal to new Chrome driver, and why are we writing WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver? The reason behind this is, refer at this diagram again. Here I have told before that the search context interface contains only two methods, that is the find element and the find elements. So if we are writing search context driver1 is equal to new Chrome driver, it will only have two abstract methods, that is the find element and the find elements. Whereas if I'm writing WebDriver, it has all those methods like the find element and the find elements also, and all the WebDriver methods as well. So that is the reason why we are writing WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay. So now the next question that you must be thinking is, okay, we are fine with the search context. We are not, there's no advantage in writing search context because it will have only two methods included in it. That is the find element and the find elements. So why not remote? Why not remote WebDriver? Like we can write remote WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. This is also possible. But the reason behind why we're not writing remote WebDriver is because the remote WebDriver mechanism, the architecture of the remote WebDriver is very different from the WebDriver. Here there are two reasons. Okay, if we want to use this approach, the remote WebDriver driver3 is equal to new Chrome driver. If we are using this approach, then this approach is only accessible when we want to access in remote location. See here, the remote WebDriver works very different from the WebDriver, and it also the remote WebDriver is a class. Always remember there's a difference between a class and an interface. Okay, so class, and it contains methods which shows that what action is to be performed. That is remote WebDriver. Whereas interface, it contains the abstract methods. So the remote WebDriver is not serving as advantages as the WebDriver that we have included over here. So it is the best practice is to include the WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, so I'll delete these commands. And yeah, through system.setProperty, we have a key value, we have entered the string value over here, that is the WebDriver.Chrome.driver, and here we have entered the path of our executable Chrome driver. Next we have written WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Through these two steps, the Chrome browser is launched. Now remember, these two steps are common for all the test cases we are going to write, because in every test case we are going to launch a browser. So these two steps are going to be similar. Okay. So the next test case. The next test case that we have is navigate to the URL. Okay. How are we going to do that? Now we have driver as a reference variable. We're going to write driver.get. And we're going to include the site where we want to navigate. that is www.google.com. This is the site I want to navigate to. I'm going to run this command. The Chrome browser is launched, but it has not navigated to the URL. Why? Let's see. So here it says Chrome browser, Chrome driver was started successfully, and here it says invalid argument exception. There is invalid argument. Why? Let me tell you. Here when we write the URL, you need to write the complete URL, which includes https://. Now let's see. So our Chrome browser is launched, and here it is. It is navigated to the URL, that is the google.com. Okay. I'll just close this. I'll close this as well. Okay. So now you have understood, to navigate to a URL, we will write driver.get. The get command is used to navigate to the URL. Okay. So the third test case is to close the browser. How are we going to do that? We're going to simply write driver.close. The close command is used to close the browser. Save it and run. So here our Chrome browser is launched, and it is navigated to the URL, and it is closed. See, it happens very fast. But yeah, this is the process. Like, we have launched the Chrome browser, we have navigated to the URL, and we have closed the browser. To navigate the URL, we are using the get command, and to close the browser, we are using the close command. So these were the steps to launch the browser, to navigate to the URL, and to close the browser. Now let's execute the second test set, which has the Firefox browser, in which we have to launch the Firefox browser. So I'll comment all these, and we're going to launch the Firefox first. Okay, there is no harm if we write both the browsers. There's no harm. It will execute the Chrome browser first, and then it will execute the Firefox browser first. We will do that also, but first let us execute this particularly. Okay. So in the next set of test cases, here it is. We have opened the Firefox browser, navigate to the URL, and close the browser. The only difference is that we are working with the Firefox browser over here. Okay, and over here we were working with the Chrome browser. So let's start. First thing, the first test case, which says that we have to open the Firefox browser. Okay, so how we're going to do that? Obviously, we're going to write system.setProperty, which is having two string values. One is key and one is the value. Okay, so over here you can see, over here the key value is WebDriver.Chrome.driver. So over here it's going to be WebDriver.getCo. GetCo is the driver name for the Firefox browser. .driver. Okay, this is the key. Now we will enter the value. How are we going to do that? We're going to go to the path where our Firefox driver is saved. Here it is. We're going to copy this path. I'm going to simply paste it over here. We will change the slashes, and we're going to include the file name. So our file name is getco driver. Getco driver.exe. Okay. And next command. Our next command is that we're going to create an object of Firefox first. And how we're going to refer it? We're going to refer it by the WebDriver interface. WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox. Okay. Next, we need to navigate to the URL. How are you going to do that? Navigate to the URL. We're going to simply write WebDriver dot get HTTPS. We need to write HTTPS colon www.google.com. Okay. Then the third command is to close the browser. How are we going to do it? We simply write driver dot close. Okay. So let's launch it. So let's run this program. We'll click on this. And here it is, our Firefox is launched, it is navigated, and it's closed. Yes. So as I said, there is no harm, like simply I will uncomment all these. I'll name this as driver 1, and driver 1. Okay, so let's execute this statement. It will open the Chrome driver first. Yes, it is opening the Chrome driver first, it is navigating, and it is closing. Now our Firefox will be opened. Yes, it is navigating and it is closed. So there is no harm if you're including two browsers in one program. There's no harm in that. Okay, just change the reference variable. Here I have changed the reference variable to driver 1 and driver 1. Now since we have executed these two sets of test cases, now let me explain you this command. Now here we have written WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. We can also write Firefox driver dr1 is equal to new Firefox driver. This command is also valid. Okay, there's no harm in writing Firefox driver dr1 is equal to new Firefox driver. But what are the disadvantages behind this statement? I'll tell you. Now see, when you're working in an organization, you are working with many people. You will be having at least 500 number of test cases, and out of which 250 test cases are need to be automated. So there are large number of test cases which are need to be automated. In that you will be supporting the cross-browser testing. So you have to simultaneously run multiple browsers at the same time. Okay, and there are a large number of test cases. Now see, the advantage behind writing WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Here you are not stick to one browser. You can execute multiple browsers this way. But whereas if we write Firefox driver 1 is equal to new Firefox driver, here we are stick to one driver. It is we are specific towards a driver, that is a Firefox driver. Here if you want to change to Chrome driver, it will be, you have to write Chrome driver dr2 is equal to new. This is what you have to write if you want to change to Chrome driver, and you have to comment this line. And even you have to change, there will be many other changes also in the program because of a driver. Okay, so this thing is very harmful. It is not a good practice of writing this command, that is the Firefox driver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Whereas if you're working with this and there is a situation where you have to change to Chrome driver, you have to simply just change over here Chrome driver. You'll just write Chrome driver, and your entire program will be launched through a Chrome driver. Okay, so this is the difference between the WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver and the Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. These are the problems that we are facing if we are writing Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. That is, the program is specific towards the Chrome driver. Whereas if you're writing WebDriver is equal to new Chrome driver, it is not specific towards a particular browser. Okay, so let's first revise what have we understood in this tutorial. So what did we learn? The first thing that we learned is to launch the browser. In case of Chrome browser, how did we do? First we set the property through a system class, that is a system.set property, in which we are having two string, we need to enter two string values, that is the string key and the string value. In case of Chrome driver, the string key is the WebDriver Chrome driver, whereas the string value will be the path where our executable file is saved. The next statement is that we're going to write WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Through these commands, it will launch the Chrome browser. Now in case of Firefox browser, same we are going to write system.setProperty, but the key value will change. That is the WebDriver.getCode.driver, and also the path where our Firefox driver is placed, that will also change. Okay, then the next command will be WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Through this command, we are launching our Firefox browser. Next, we learned how to navigate to a particular URL. Simply, we will use driver.get command. The get command is used to navigate to a particular URL. We have to include the HTTPS, all the website, any URL you are entering over here. You have to enter the full URL, the entire URL, including the HTTPS. Okay. Then to close the browser, we learned how to close the browser. That is, we are using the close command. That is a driver.close command. So the next thing that we learned is about the hierarchy of the classes and the interfaces. That is, we learned first thing about the search context. It is a super interface of the WebDriver and it has only two methods, that is the find element and the find elements. Next, we learned that the WebDriver is an interface which extends the search context interface, and the WebDriver has methods like the get method, the get title, get current URL, close, quit, etc. That has many methods, and also it has the nested interfaces also. Then the remote WebDriver is a fully implemented class which implements the WebDriver interface. Okay. Then we have the Chrome driver, the Internet Explorer driver, the Firefox driver, Opera, Safari driver. All these are child classes of the remote WebDriver class, and they provide the browser-specific implementation of the Selenium WebDriver. So these are the hierarchy of the classes and the interfaces of the Selenium WebDriver. Next we learned that what are the this PPT shows that what are the valid statements that we can write through creating an object of Chrome driver and how can we refer it. Now writing WebDriver driver is equal to new WebDriver. This command is wrong. Okay, this command is wrong. We can write WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver, new Firefox driver, new Internet Explorer driver. This is the best practice. In industry level, we use the WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. This command is frequently cut. This command is only used because writing this command, Firefox driver, through this, it is the program, the script that you're writing is specific towards a Firefox only. It will launch only the Firefox browser. Whereas over here also it will launch only the Firefox driver, but there's a situation where you have to change the driver. They might say that the company says that you have to launch the Chrome browser, launch the entire test script in the Chrome browser. So what you're going to do is you just have to simply change over here to Chrome driver and you're done. But whereas if you're writing Firefox driver, you have to change the entire statement and there will be other statements also that you have to change. Okay. So the best practice is the WebDriver practice. WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. But whereas if you write Chrome driver driver is equal to new Chrome driver, there's no harm in it. But the best practice is to write the WebDriver. So this is all for today. In this tutorial, we have learned many things. So in the next tutorial, I will explain about the HTML elements and we will understand about the Selenium locators. So until then, stay tuned. Thank you and goodbye.